Hey everybody, it's Clint Powell, and today's episode is brought to you by two great sponsors. One is my friends at JB Millworks. Jeremy Price and his staff do wonderful work. I'm going to tell you how to get a hold of them first. jbmillworks.com, or you can call them at 706-965-6940. And then I'm going to tell you why. You ready? They have great products. They have doors, they have stair parts, trim work, anything you're wanting for remodel or new construction. But they also have beautiful plantation shutters. Make your house look gorgeous. And high quality, energy saving, gorgeous, beautiful sun-clad windows. I know a little bit about sun-clad windows. I know the owner of the company, Frank Anderson, and I'm telling you right now, if you have a home and you're wanting to get the best of both worlds, high energy savings and yet a beautiful wood look on the interior, it is gorgeous inside and outside wood-clad windows from Sun Windows. jbmillworks.com or 706-965-6940. Also, a sponsor of today's episode is Lori Monteith with Keller Williams, or as she is known on Facebook and Google, Team Monteith. Lori started in the real estate industry back when everybody was getting out of it with the great economic downturn. She made the most of it. She pulled through. She does business the right way. And in a world where there's all these multiple offers, houses are not staying on the market long, you're wanting to move or you're wanting to sell, you need someone who has a track record of getting things done. Find out more about her. Team Monteith is on Facebook. You can also Google Lori Monteith, but you can call them at 315-0042, 423-315-0042, or you can find out more at findchattanoogarealestate.com. Enjoy today's episode. Hey folks, Clint Powell here. This is During the Break. Let's do this. Welcome to During the Break podcast. I'm Clint Powell. Thanks for finding us. Do what I always ask you to do. Share us, review us, spread the word, whatever you can do to help us grow the podcast. Every week I do one or two mini casts where it's just me, 15, 20 minutes of whatever's on my ADHD brain, politics, motivation. And then a couple times, at least once or twice a week, I get to interview people. And the cool thing about a podcast, and I've done radio for years, the cool thing about a podcast, I can interview who I want, whatever topic I want. I can ask any question I want. They don't have to answer it, but I get to ask the question. So this week I have two great guests. One is, if you've not heard it, it came out this past Friday, Ed Jones, owner of Nutrition World. We actually talked about CBD oil, how to detox the body, what in the world that even means, and some other things. Go back and listen to that one at duringthebreakpodcast.com. And today, and now that I've asked you how to say your last name, I'm pretty sure I've already forgotten. So I'm going to try it. And then anything in this intro I get wrong, just be patient with me because I know you're hungry.
I can do that.
Yeah, don't get mad and correct me. So you're an NPC. Are you an NPC competitor?
Yes, I am.
Good, I posted that. I'm glad. And you just won, mystery guest, I've not given your name yet, the Flex Lewis 2018 overall figure championship. And in your class, too.
Yes. Right? Yep.
No notes.
You nailed that. Yeah.
But I can't remember where I put my keys. And sometimes I try to start my refrigerator. So other than that, yeah, this is great. Brittany Pienta.
Yep.
Did I do it?
Yes, you did. That was spot on.
I'm sitting here in the studio with her. Her boyfriend's looking at me like, good luck with this, man. She's hungry right now because she's competing. And if you get it wrong, it's on you. Now, he's no help at all. He's not getting in between if you snap on me. I can tell you right now. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. I got a bunch of questions I want to ask, but full disclosure, I work at a company called People's Home Equity. I do some marketing, and I used to own an ad agency. Of course, I've done radio for years, but I met you when you took a job. You were there briefly. You came in, you moved in from out of town. You were there a couple of months, and then I think you realized, and I'll let you tell the story, but you realized that working and having a great job, there are good people here, but you had bigger things.
Right. I was in corporate America. I was in the mortgage industry for about 8 or 9 years. Still, I was always competing and working out and just kind of more of on the hobby side. And then I moved up here from Atlanta and met you at People's and everything.
Yeah.
And was still working out, but I wasn't able to give it the attention that I would have liked to give it and go full force into it, because I knew I wanted to compete at nationals, and I knew what needed to be done to do that. So I talked to my fiance, and we had a long talk, and we just said, this is my passion. This is my dream. You know, my physique isn't always going to respond the way that it is right now. However, the mortgage industry is not going anywhere. So I'd rather take this time and take advantage of the opportunity that I have and see where that takes me. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, then, you know, I've got mortgages to fall back on.
Well, and two, you said it right. Everything in life has a season and windows. And listen, I'm a big believer on just because you get older doesn't mean you shouldn't chase dreams. Chase your dreams. But you're exactly right. Physically, yes, I can play basketball at 51, but I can't play basketball like I did when I was 21 or 31. That's just the nature of the beast.
Right.
So with that being said, I completely understand it. And it takes a certain amount of focus. I remember you would bring in food, you know, and it was pissing me off because there's these things I like called donuts. And they're so good. And I would be walking through licking my fingers, you know, a Dorito on one hand, a donut in the other, and you're over there steaming stuff. And I'm like, God, why did he hire you? Why are you in this building right now? And I just figure that's God's way of going, go to the gym.
See, yes, it's motivating.
Well, that's why you're sitting here, because I dig the story. And let me backtrack. I apologized earlier that I called you the boyfriend. Congratulations, man, because y'all got engaged a couple months ago.
It was in
July, yeah, because you were working here. You just started here.
No, because it was my birthday.
Yeah. There you go.
Remember we went to the aquarium?
Oh, that's right, down in Atlanta. Y'all went because I saw the pictures.
Yep.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
Everybody is engaged. I call you the boyfriend, and there's a lot of angst that goes behind becoming a fiance. So I apologize. I missed that. All right. So let's do this. You came from a family that was kind of competitive and had their own competitive nature when it comes to bodybuilding, right? Powerlifting.
Yes. I actually grew up, my dad was a competitive bodybuilder. So that's kind of who introduced me to it. I was in sports my entire life, but then after school, I just didn't really know what to do. So I went to him and he kind of showed me the ropes and I took it and ran with it.
Where are y'all from originally?
I was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then I moved down to Atlanta with my parents when I started high school.
Yes, for some reason I thought you were from Carolinas or something like that. Yeah, that's what I get for thinking. Yeah, that's what I get in trouble every time I start that brain up. All right, so you actually went and got a coach.
I did, yep.
So was that did you have one before you left here or before you, how long have you had a coach?
So when I first started bodybuilding, my dad actually coached me.
Oh, that's cool.
And my dad is very similar to me. I love him to death, but he thinks the same way. So that being said, we butt heads a lot. And it's just being my dad, it's easier to say, no, I don't want to do that, right, or, whatever. So did some research and I got in contact with Matt Jansen in 2015. He prepped me and did what I consider my first real figure prep, the way that it needed to be done. Did okay. I ended up taking second that show. And then after that show, I did end up taking a break from stage. And then when I met my fiance, he was like, you've got to get back into it. You're too good and your genetics are just there. You need to get back into it.
Your shoulders are just weak, though. I just want to go ahead and give you a tip right now.
I've been working on them.
I'm just kidding. Your shoulders are awesome. And she's like, that right there.
I've only got
that's
2
my
more
best
weeks.
body part. Why are you hating me on these bodies? So let's quit calling him your fiance. What's his name?
His name is Landon.
Thank you. Okay, good.
Landon, yes.
Yeah, well, let's give the name. There's this mystery fiance. Everybody's listening. Right. She's just not wanting to get hit on. No, she has a fiance. His name is Landon, and he's sitting here. So you got back on stage, you get a coach, and you reached out to him. What was the first thing? Well, let's flip the script on that. Let's back up a little bit. You say genetically, you want to be a bodybuilder. So what's the difference between a figure and the bodybuilding? Is there a difference, or is one a transition to the other?
I want to say like apples to oranges almost, because bodybuilders, they are at a different level, and the things that they need to do are, I'm going to consider them more extreme than the figure girls. They've got to diet down a little bit harder. They need to be leaner. They need to show more striations.
More muscle mass?
More muscle mass. Yes. That bodybuilding usually is going to be where you see your biggest,
right,
and grainiest looking physiques.
Well, is that what you want to be? Or are you going to, do you like where you're at?
I will forever be a figure girl. If I wanted to put on some more size and go up, I'll say to the next division, which size-wise, which would be women's physique.
Right.
Those girls look fantastic. But that's, another level of intensity. And not to say that I don't have that in me. I personally just like the look of figure stage presentation on myself.
Well, you're relatively new into this too. I mean, I know you have a history in being in it, your family, but you haven't been on the stage in a minute. And is this the highest level you've competed at so far?
Yes. Winning the Flex Lewis, that was the biggest show I've done to date.
You're just now getting into it. I mean, you don't know where, 2 years from now, you may go, I'm going more.
Yeah, you know what? And really, it's going to depend on what happens at Nationals with what I do next.
Where's that at?
That's in Miami.
Ooh.
Yep. So we head down there on the 13th to get situated and ready. And then the big show is on the 17th. And that's kind of like my fork in the road. If I win, then I turn pro.
So winning is the only option.
Yeah.
Like if I don't win, mortgage time.
Yeah,
no, don't do that.
I'm going to put my resume. I'll send you my resume again.
Don't do that. Well, and because people listen to this at different times. You're talking about November 17th, 2018. In case they're listening to this, and it's in Miami. But no, I don't. I mean, so in your brain, seriously, is that the kind of competitor you are? If I don't win, it's back to something else.
No, if I don't win, I mean, if I just totally blow it and I come in like 13th, then okay, maybe I'll kind of look at a different career path for myself. But if I come in like top 5,
right,
then,
for your second show in years,
I mean, I would be ecstatic with that, and of course, I would push and try to turn pro again next year.
Right.
It just really depends on where I fall come November 17th.
So, and when y'all walked in the studio, Landon asked you real quietly, when do you want to eat? And I was like, oh, you measure it down to the minute. And because you are, and I don't think this is, if you're into bodybuilding, here's the thing, if you're into competition of any kind, then they say this all the time. Abs are conditioned or made in the kitchen. That's my downfall because I still eat like I've metabolism of a 30-year-old. But you got to have that dialed in. That's very important. You've not had a break hardly since the Flex. Did that used to be called the Flex Wheeler? Or am I missing something? Or is it the Flex look different? Okay. Because the background on the thing looked exactly like the other competitions I used to watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm looking at it. I'm going, surely they didn't get it wrong. They know what competition it is. I guess I'm the one that's wrong. Yeah. So you had a day off, you told me, and now you're back on the diet.
I did. I had one day where I didn't have to measure any food or worry about what I was, intaking. Of course, I still ate mindful. I knew that I had a bigger goal in sight, so I was mindful of that. But that didn't stop me. I went to Cracker Barrel, had Mama's French toast, extra biscuits as an appetizer. I mean, I didn't hold back there. And then as the day progressed, I still, we went up to Subway. We had, I had a bag of Lifesaver gummy candies, which that's my biggest weakness is candy. And then, Monday came around and I did some updates with my coach and we hit the
Well, let's do this. I want to ask you a little bit about your diet because I got some questions here I want to go over. And there are people out there who may never aspire to do what you're doing, but there are people, and they may not have the discipline. So one of the things I want to talk about before we leave is I want to talk to you about discipline and habits because I think that's something we all miss. But your diet. Let's say you're just trying to stay in shape because you're an active person, which is I consider normal. Let's say you're just trying to stay in shape. You don't have to have the 12-pack or the striations in your back. What does your diet normally look like versus now? And who handles that? Do you do your own diet? Do you have your coach?
My coach handles everything for me, off season and in competition season. As far as the food and the diet goes, of course, in the off season, I've got a little bit more freedom. If I want to eat a Snickers bar, I typically don't really think twice about it. I'll be honest. Does that mean I'm eating a Snickers bar every day? No, that would just kind of.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were asking me. My bad.
I would mentally feel a little guilt because I would feel like I'm putting myself backwards.
Right. But I mean, do you measure proteins, carbohydrates? Is there a mix for you that works? Is it 80-20-10? I mean, 80,
it's not
10,
a
10 or something?
set, we'll say formula. It's this week, this is how my body responded. If my weight's jumping up and down, or if it's not, let's say my coach dropped my carbs a little bit and my body isn't responding the way that it needs to, he'll adjust it based on those pictures.
So he's looking at macros.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Do you have carb withdrawal? Did you have carb withdrawal? So he's nodding his head.
Yeah,
Very brave young man.
I'm not going to lie. I do get a little frustrated when I'm hungry watching. Especially right now, just because the food is a little bit on the lower side. But, to counteract that in the off season, there were times where I had to force myself to finish eating, because in order to grow the amount of muscle you need, you have to make sure you're getting all of those carbs and proteins. You're making sure you're getting everything in.
That's what somebody asked me before you came in, though, about this podcast. They asked me about, she just doesn't eat much. And I went, no,
I
don't think you understand when you're taxing your body. I mean, you have to put food. I'm not saying you got to have a deficit to lose weight. I get that. But if you're supposed to have striations and you're supposed to have some muscle mass, you can't just stop eating proteins.
Right. And you eat, it's kind of crazy how much I eat in the off season, but the kicker is the types of food that I'm eating. I'm not out going to eat French fries for my carbs every day.
Give me an example of that. French fries versus what? What else do you eat?
French fries versus a sweet potato or jasmine rice.
Okay.
Or for my vegetables, I'll do some zucchini noodles, because mentally they help me feel like I'm eating more carbs. So that's a little bit of a healthier cheat.
I had a friend of mine talk to me about Bird's Eye have these vegetable zucchini noodles that are, you put in the microwave, that are just as healthy as making them your own. Mm-hmm. And because I like pasta, I had spaghetti and meatballs last night.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I eat it, I go home and I go, okay, I'm going to take a nap now. I have this carb load up and I feel guilty. So I'll top it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get it.
It's about making healthier decisions, even when your coach is not around.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing about bodybuilding is if you're not doing it solely for yourself and to better yourself, you are not going to be successful. Because if you are the type of person that needs somebody to say, nope, you shouldn't eat that, like, your coach can't be on you 24/7. You need to have some self-discipline and understand what needs to be done, because at the end of the day, the only person you're hurting is yourself. And quite honestly, you've probably made your coach a little upset, because now they've got to go fix your diet and figure out what they need to do.
They're
to
invested in you.
Right.
Yeah.
They can only do so much, because at the end of the day, again, it falls back on you and what energy you're putting in to give yourself.
Are you a pretty focused person? Are you very disciplined? Yes,
sometimes a little bit over the top. I'm a perfectionist. And so if if Landon is measuring my food for me that day and he's off by a couple of grams, I'll go back and fix it. Will those couple of grams make a huge difference? Probably not. But I don't want to come back and if I lose, I'm going to look at him and say, you shouldn't have gave me that extra couple of grams, because that's why I lost. And yes, that is an extreme way of thinking, but bodybuilding is an extreme sport.
But anybody that's a competitor has something like that. It may not be about their food. It may be like how their locker looks. Don't come mess with my locker.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Everybody that's a competitor has something in their world that they're very routine, and this is my area. Get it right or let me do it. Is that everything in your world?
Verbatim, I think you just said what I tell him. It comes across as being maybe not the nicest, but it's like, I know what this needs to be.
Right.
And if you can help me, fantastic. I would love the help. But I also know that it's a little bit tedious, and I would never expect somebody to put in that kind of work, because bodybuilding itself is hard, yes. But the hardest thing that there is to deal with is the self-discipline and knowing you can't go eat that bag of Skittles at the store just because you want to. And you can't eat a tub of ice cream and think that doing an hour of cardio later that night is going to wash it out.
You stop that right now.
Crazy, right?
I use that every day. I'll do, so 5 minutes of Crystal, That's 25 minutes on the treadmill. Then I can start working out. I've just counteracted my crystals. That's not the way it works.
No, I wish it
hurt
was.
My feelings.
But it
what does your day look like? Give me a typical day. What time you get up? How's your training split? Give me a day in the life of a bodybuilder.
Okay. Let's see. I wake up around 7, and then I'll have my cup of coffee. And let's see what I'll take my morning supplements such as like my multivitamins and things of that nature. Then I will leave to go do my fasted cardio, which consists of right now is 45 minutes on the Stairmaster or the recumbent bike. And then I'll come home and I'll eat my first 3 meals, and then I go work out, and then I come home.
What time's that second workout?
I work out around 3 o'clock.
Okay. So that's your second workout or your first workout?
That will be my first workout, because I'll have the only thing I'll do when I go to the gym the first in the morning is just that 45 minutes of cardio.
Golly.
And then I leave, go home. I'll make the food and make sure everything's prepped for the day. And then I hit my workout around 3:30. I'm usually back home around 5:30 or 6. I have, my post workout, and then I get another couple of meals before bed, and then I go to bed and wake up and
do it again. The routine is the key, isn't it?
Yeah, you kind of go into like a robot mode to where you just don't even think about what you're doing. You just get up and go, because there's a thing in bodybuilding where they say, they call it prep brain. And I'll admit I've used that card a few more times than I needed to, but it is a real thing. And your brain just like, you get a little forgetful. So I've got my diet on it's written on a whiteboard on the fridge.
Right.
And so I just have it right there, even though I see it and I know what it is every single day. When I come home from cardio, I'm like, wait, what am I eating? So
yeah. Is there a pre-workout, post-workout when you were talking about your meal? I'm going to make an assumption here, because I was a trainer in the 80s and 90s. Thank you very much. That's back when we still had a food pyramid, which was totally screwed up now that we look back on it. We're doing plyometrics, which has come back around, by the way.
It has.
Yes.
They've got their benefits.
It does. We used to,
when done correctly.
Jump hurdle. That's it, done correctly. But post-workout, pre-workout, do you control how much protein, how much carbs? Do you control that? Is that done by the coach? Do you know the difference right now? I mean, are you taking more carbs before a workout, or how does that split work?
So my coach handles that piece. Pre-workout, that's where I'll kind of have my fats, and I will also have my like right now I'm eating 110 grams of jasmine rice
before workout,
okay, along with 112 grams of fish and 35 grams of avocado, and then 75 grams of a vegetable, which is usually when I throw in my zucchini noodles, because I'll saute it all together and it's really good. And then post-workout, I have the same amount of carbs and same amount of protein, but I don't have vegetables and I don't have fats.
So you would withhold that somehow. You take that out of your post-workout.
Yeah,
okay,
because the fats is going to help me get energy and really have an awesome workout. And then when I get back home, I don't need I would love to have the fats, of course.
Isn't that weird, though? Most people don't think of that. I mean, I know you guys are in bodybuilding. Both of y'all are in great shape. But most people think, you take carbs or even the power drinks. But most people would not associate fats with energy for a workout. I think that's pretty cool. No,
and as long as you're eating the right fats. Again, I'm not eating a bunch of grease or frying my food in a bunch of oil or anything like that. It's healthy fats. Like I said, avocado.
Have you heard of the the all meat diet? And here I'm going blank. The what is it called? They call it the keto. Well, it's keto, but there's I listen to a podcast, Joe Rogan podcast, and he talks about it. I'll think of it in just a second. But basically, all they eat is red meat. That's all they eat. A buddy of mine I had on this podcast, Gunnar Miller, played linebacker at UTC. Now he's going into professional wrestling. And
that's awesome.
He is on the not the vegetarian's opposite. I'll think of it in just a second. But all he eats is red meat. That's it. And it's there's all these benefits to it and everything. But when I was sitting there, I was thinking about his workouts. And I'm sure there's other things he's got to be taking, but it's a crazy diet.
That is, if it works, I mean, I'm not too familiar with it myself. But I will say with those diets that you can associate a name with, for lack of better words, for example, the keto diet, they work really great to help you get down to where you are wanting to be. But as far as longevity is concerned, it's hard to keep that up and make it a lifestyle change. So the carnivore diet. That's the name of it. That would make sense.
Yeah, it is. I'm sitting here thinking like I'm an idiot. Hey, do you need to take a break and eat?
That would be great if we could.
No, we'll just take a break. Okay, so here's the deal. We took a break so Brittany could eat. That's how regimented she is. And now her fiance he's eating, right? Okay, good. I thought, my God, how much food is she going to eat?
I wish.
My issue.
I wish I was eating
So
that.
now he's going to eat in front of you now? Oh, no, that's not a good move there, fiance.
He
not
eats muffins. He eats, I mean, there are times.
What did you just eat? Tell everybody what you just ate. Tell them about the recipe because there's people that may want to know.
Yeah. Oh, so you guys, this is so good. So what I just had was 112 grams of chicken that was cooked in the crock pot. I had 75 grams of zucchini noodles. I had 110 grams of jasmine rice, and all of that was sauteed together in some sugar-free barbecue sauce. Stubbs is the brand.
Yeah.
But there's next to nothing in it. I just saute all that together, and it honestly does not feel like I'm dieting.
And you ate a good portion. That was a Tupperware full of food.
Yeah, like I'm full.
And you'll be done now to tomorrow. You don't get to eat. No, I'm just kidding. Why do you get so hungry? Because I don't eat.
That won't be good news for anybody.
No. All right, so here's what I've done. I've got words written down on a piece of paper. And I want to just bring up words. We'll play some words association type stuff because I want to get your input on things. And I want to make sure we get you out of here in a timely manner. So we've already talked about habits a little bit. Body parts. Because I know when you started doing this, and I remember you talking about this before when you were here, because I've got some bad shoulders, and I want to get into some massage techniques, that massage gun you're talking about. But when you critique yourself, because this is some good advice for us in life. When you're an athlete like yourself, or you're in a competitive nature like yourself, you have to get used. It's not easy, but to be criticized. Are you very critical of yourself, and do you handle criticism from others good at all? Or well at all, whatever the appropriate word I'm supposed to be using there.
I will say this. There's nothing somebody can tell me that I've not thought about myself, because I am very critical of myself. You're your own biggest critic. That being said, I am okay taking criticism from other people depending on how knowledgeable they are in what they are speaking about.
Right.
If I have somebody that, clearly doesn't work out, or is just sitting there eating pizza trying to tell me that I should be doing to look a little better.
You quit hating on us pizza eaters over
I'm
here.
gonna raise an eyebrow.
Right.
And I love pizza.
No, I understand.
Within, to an extent.
You appreciate opinions of people who have suffered the suffer.
Right.
When you've been down the road, I'll listen to your idea, at least entertain it, right?
Yeah, if you're knowledgeable, like my coach, I have the utmost respect for him. And, with his knowledge and everything that he's got, if he were to tell me, the next 2 days straight, you're going to eat nothing but watermelon, he never would do that. But just, for sake of conversation.
Do you get criticism from other bodybuilders, other competitors that have taken interest in and see you maybe on social media? Do they give you pointers too? Or not at that level yet?
Yes and no. It kind of, when I first started getting back into the bodybuilding scene, everybody had an opinion, but I'm the type to just I don't really say too much about what I'm doing, because then once everybody knows what you're doing, they start to volunteer unwanted opinions, and what I'm doing is for me and myself, and that's it.
That's like when you get engaged, everybody's like, oh, when are you going to have a baby? That's the name, or when you get married.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to give their input on what your life is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just kind of kept my head down and kept going. And my coach, we had a plan, but we didn't make a huge announcement that I was going to do nationals until I was qualified for nationals. Whereas there are some people, I think back in May, I told you, yes, this was the goal, but I didn't tell anybody I'm doing it because I haven't proven myself to get to that stage yet. So I don't want to look dumb. and not do something that I say I'm going to do.
But let's go back to the criticism question. A lot of people don't handle criticism well. How do you process that? I mean, and is it because people get criticized, and we need critical voices in our world about our job performance, about our relationships, about our diets. I mean, I think some of the stuff you go through when you're competing on anything can be translated over to life and to business. So how do you handle criticism, and do you really want it?
Does anybody want criticism?
Do you know you need it? That may be
but you know you need it to get better. If I only listened to what my thoughts were about myself, I know I wouldn't be where I am right now. I ask, Landon all the time about what he thinks. Am I progressing the way that I need to? My coach tells me all the time how I'm looking, and he doesn't say anything unless he means it. So if my coach says I'm looking good, I know that I'm looking good. If he says, hey, you're a little soft today, I'm not going to take that and get upset that he called me soft. I'm just going to take that to the drawing board and, okay, well, what do we need to do about it?
Do you handle criticism like the tough love criticism?
Yes.
Or do you like somebody to sugarcoat it? Now, listen, I know you're tired, or do you just like somebody, hey, get off your ass and go do that?
Get off your ass and go do that. I don't like fluffy. I grew up with tough love, and, give me the bottom line. That's all I care about.
Right.
And so when it comes to taking criticism, if they are somebody that's educated and that I respect, then I will take what they say and really think about it from their perspective, because they wouldn't be saying it to me at least a little bit being true. So I'm not saying I take everything they say and, just stay hunched on it. But, they may say one little sentence here that could help me, that I'll take into consideration and do with it what I want.
What body part responds best to working out? And I say that if you've never worked out, and I've of course never been a bodybuilding, but I did lift a lot of weights and powerlifting stuff. Sometimes, like, my legs would just respond, just boom. But I could never get my bench press up or something. Everybody has something. What's your best body part, do you think?
I would say my shoulders.
That's why I insulted them earlier. So you would look at me like I was a complete moron.
Yeah, it's shoulders. I mean, don't get me wrong. I work them very, very hard, and I put a lot of effort into them. But when I'm not going to claim that genetics don't have anything to do with it either, because they do. And it's funny because looking at pictures of my father competing, our bodies are next to, as similar as a guy and a girl can be.
Yeah.
He's got fantastic shoulders. And so shoulders are just always one of those things that I've had. Cap it off,
yeah.
And so everybody likes to fix and make better something that's already good. So when I first got into working out, I recognized that I had big shoulders. So I worked shoulders out all the time. Then my lower half started to slack, and I had string beans for legs. So
who told you that? Did somebody ever criticize you? Did somebody?
Many people.
Quit raising your hand. You're gonna get, dude. I'm trying to help you out. Stop that.
And I'm honest with myself. I don't try to tell myself, oh, don't worry about what they said. You're looking good. If anything, I'll take somebody saying, hey, your legs kind of suck, and you know what? If anything, it's more motivation for me, and it just pushes me to get my legs up. And now this year, that's actually what I was focusing on, is my legs, and they've gotten to a point now where I'm actually somewhat happy with them.
I follow you on Instagram, and here's the deal: as you keep going down this road, and I don't want to jinx anything. I don't take what I'm about to say the wrong way. You may make it. I hope you win it all, but you may not. And there's people that are following you that may follow you. There's going to be young girls watching you. There's going to be other people who are overweight, people who you'll never know who they are. But as you get older, you'll realize people watch you. So I'll watch your Instagram page. How can people find your Instagram real quick?
My Instagram is at @bpienta. So it's BPIENTA.
There you go. The reason I said that is I've watched you post stuff about legs. Working on your leg, right?
Every day's leg day. Not really, but it feels like it.
And they've got a lot better.
Yes, they have. My quads specifically, they've never been able to put on size. I look a little top heavy, to be honest. So I just kept hammering them twice a week. I would do legs and quad focused. And now that I've gotten my quads up, I already know what I'm going to be working on next season, which is going to be my hamstrings. I've got the other side of my leg now. So, and that's the exciting thing about bodybuilding is you're always improving. I'm always going to be proud of what I've done, but I'm never going to sit and say, all right, I think I'm going to be done now. This is good enough. Like,
the average person watches these bodybuilding contests, and it's like watching a boxing match that's somewhat evenly matched. You really can't judge it if you've never boxed.
Right.
If you've never been, if I look up on the stage, I go, yeah, they all look awesome. So how, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when judges are looking at you, I know it's a subjective thing, so you can't really give me an accurate answer. But how do they tell? I mean, you say striations. What, are they counting the striations? Because y'all look pretty stinking striations.
We'd be up there a while if that was the case.
That's what I'm saying.
No, so each division has different critiques, I guess we'll say, that the judges look for. In my division, being figure, they look for, you got to be proportional. Do you look balanced out from the top to the bottom? How is your stage presence? Posing is another big thing that's overlooked. Just because, you spend so much time in the gym making your body look the way that it does, but they forget to practice on how to showcase it. And if you can't showcase it, then somebody that should maybe had a chance to win, they're now last because they didn't know how to show all the work that they've been doing. That's been my problem. I tell everybody, it's my showcasing. It's not the fact that I'm fat. It's just I don't show what I have. You got to practice your posing. Thank you. Yes. And you pick your music, right? Or they give you standard music? So, a figure actually doesn't have a music routine. Oh. We come out and it's 15 to 20 seconds. You have a individual presentation. And then after that, they'll say, well, out of these girls that did the presentation, this is going to be your first call out. Okay. So these are going to be your top 5 usually. And whoever's in the middle typically is who's going to win. So that's when the judges are moving people around, comparing. They call you in the middle? Because of my height class, where I came out, I just happened to be in the middle, but they just never moved me. So you kind of knew. You were waiting. If they'd moved you, you'd been like, oh, damn it. Well, oh yeah. You'd be like, yeah. Don't you move me. People. Wouldn't have been happy there. But no, thankfully I stayed in the middle and that show ended up playing out the way it needed to. But I'll tell you, looking back at some of the footage of me on stage, I know my posing is not where it needed to be for nationals. So now it's kind of back to the drawing board to work on my posing and get that to where it needs to be for that national level stage. Is it hard to watch yourself on stage? Like, it's hard sometimes for me to listen to these podcasts because I don't like my voice. It is. It's kind of, I was going to say, almost like you don't like to hear yourself talk. Yeah. You think that you're moving one way and you try to be classy and have this little sexy walk. And then you look on stage and you're like, what the heck was that? Because you don't realize how much faster you're moving on stage because of your adrenaline. Oh, yeah. And you just kind of are like, do what you got to do to get out there, do your presentation and be done. When in my head, I've learned that I need to kind of almost put an 8 count to my walk. So breathe. I stay calm and slow, and I let the judges look at everything that I have, because the more stage time, the more judges are able to look at you. So. Do you practice the music to get a rhythm? Oh, okay. No. I thought maybe it's in my brain, if I practiced, because this is stupid. I've heard of people that practice boxing to different kind of rhythms so they can adjust it during the middle of a fight. There's a guy I heard about in a story. He had his boxers practice to a country song, a rap song, and a hard rock song. And in the middle of the fight, if he saw that the other person was figuring the rhythm out, he would just say the name of the song, and it changed that boxer's rhythm, so he knew to go to a different rhythm. But I just didn't know if maybe you practiced the rhythm, it'd get you muscles trained on how to do it. But that's very cool that you don't have music on the presentation. It's kind of funny you say that. I didn't ever think about it until now, but the music that every time I'm practicing posing, I have just random music on. Yeah. Not that it's just background noise. The songs that I will play are a little bit on the slow side versus like when I'm working out, I listen to a little bit more upbeat. What do you listen to? Listen to a lot of EDM and rap when I work out. But then in the morning, I'll listen to, while I'm doing cardio, I listen to Christian music. Okay. So it really just, music is everything for my mood. The same way, yeah. And so, yeah, I do listen to slower music, and it helps me just really focus on keeping everything.
You just got to think
on
of
the
that
slow
music
side.
when you get on the stage.
I know. I need to think of a song, like one song that I can pair it to.
And just get that in your brain. All right, so I got some stuff, and we'll wrap this thing up here in just a few minutes. When you were working here, I've got really tight joints. I've got artificial hip. I don't stretch like I used to. One of the things that I've always said I should try is yoga. Whatever, hot yoga, cold yoga, some sort of stupid yoga, because I think it helps you loosen up. But you went and tried something, and I'm going to get it wrong, but looks like a drill, but it's a gun, and you went to Knoxville, I think, or didn't you drive to Knoxville?
Yeah.
And they tried this. What is that? And did it work?
It was the Theragun.
Theragun, yeah.
And it's kind of like this. It's a ball that almost like just keeps getting drilled. Not drilled.
No, I get it. It's like a hammer gun.
Yeah.
It's like a hammer gun.
And it just kind of helps relieve all the tensions and any knots.
Is it painful? Is it as painful as I think it would be?
It's, if you are really tight, it's painful in the aspect of like a tickle pain. It's like it hurts so good kind of thing.
Right.
So it's I don't know, but also knowing that you can feel your muscle relax.
Does anybody here do that? I did this whole podcast selfishly, just ask that one question. Does anybody here do it? Anybody in Chattanooga? Do you know of anybody? You had to go out of town, didn't you?
No. So who I went to go see he's actually out of Atlanta. He just drove up to my coach's house because my coach at the time was getting ready for a really big competition himself.
Okay, cool.
So I just came up because it was closer for me to go there than it was to all the way down to where his office was in Atlanta.
Okay.
And his name is Mike Rice, for anybody that was wondering. My hips were, one side was like 20 something degrees and the other one was maybe like 15. My hips were just out of whack.
Wow.
And he hit me with the gun and he did a couple of adjustments and everything, but it evened my hips out to where it was 30 degrees on both sides. And I will tell you, my workouts were so much better after because my range of motion was better. I didn't have that tight pinch anymore. I mean, it
makes me envious. I need to look into that.
Go check it out. Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff.
How about cryotherapy? You liking it?
Yes.
We talked about that here.
Yeah. I love cryotherapy. I go to Glace in Chattanooga. I've partnered with them.
So you know how to say it?
Yes.
Okay, because I've always called it glacia.
I used to say
glacia. I don't have a clue. Yeah, just call it cold therapy.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'll go there at least once. I try to go there twice a week. But they have whole body cryo. They have a Nano V, which is this oxygen cellular therapy. It helps turn over cells a little bit.
Do you feel different when you do it?
Within 10 minutes of having the little tube up my nose, it's like a little oxygen thing.
Yeah.
I fall asleep within 10 minutes because I'll walk in feeling like I was hit by a bus. By the time I walk out of that place, I'm like ready to work out. I feel energized.
What does the Nano thing do? What is that supposed to do for you?
So that's the cellular repair and helps it just helps your body repair itself.
Oh, okay.
And Amy, who owns it, she was telling me when I first started going there, they had a member of the staff who's getting maybe an hour or two of good quality REM sleep, started doing the Nano V, and within a couple of days, she was having 8 hours of good deep sleep from that Nano V.
I actually talked to Ed Jones, who we just did the podcast with, about this off the air, about sleeping. Mm-hmm. I have not slept more than 4 or 5 hours in 5 years.
You would benefit. I mean, I'm not just saying that. You really should.
How many times do you have to go a week, do you think, before it's effective? I can't afford something every single day.
I felt the difference the first time using it. You sit there for 30 minutes.
How many times do you go a week?
I'll only do the Nano V once a week. I'll always do the cryo, whether it be a whole body or they also have a local cryo where they can kind of pinpoint one trouble area.
Right.
And then I'll sit for, on the Nano V for 30 minutes and they come and wake me up because I usually fallen asleep. And I feel like I had a 5-hour power nap. I mean, it's amazing.
That makes me happy. I got to go try it.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
I put it off long enough. I'm going to go try that. All right, last 2 questions. Both of you take CBD oil.
Yes.
And you take it, you told me, but for both of you, I'll speak, you can speak to it, but for stress and just, it helps you that area, right?
Without being in prep, I would take it for anxiety. Being in prep with my hunger being there, my patience is a little low, I'm a little bit edgier. I will take it first thing in the morning, and it just helps really take that edge off. And all is well in the world. And I'm not just mad all the time. And and it's only because I'm hungry, and I know that.
Angry.
Yeah, that's
Angry.
a real,
that's a real
thing.
word, by the way.
But I take that, and within 10, 15 minutes, I'm like ready to go.
You feel the difference.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. I swear by it.
Well, in a minute, I'm going to ask you advice for some people. I'm going to let you wrap it up. But before I do that, we've talked about you being a competitor. We've talked about you being on stage. I want to talk a little bit. You can tell me. You're at the show. Mm-hmm. You're backstage. You know your competitor. You've seen your competitors. Mm-hmm. Is there a lot of eyeballing going on?
Absolutely. I'm not even going to try to lie.
Are you the person that looks away, or are you the I'll sit here until I freeze?
No, because I like to see what I'm going up against. But again, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because if that girl doesn't know how to pose, then there's no reason for me to even be looking at her.
Right.
But I'm human, so I'm always trying to backstage, because you don't know who's going to show up until you get there. I'm really good about staying off of social media and searching hashtags or different pages to figure out who may be there, which is hard.
Yeah.
Which is really hard. But I also know seeing them is not going to it's not going to change anything I need to do. I still need to worry about bringing my personal best. And all that's going to do is get me worked up or start doubting myself, or, whatever else comes with all of that. So I try to stay off social media as far as the creeping goes, as much as yeah. But then once we're backstage, once I see who's in my class, I'm like, all right, she's got some good, her back might be better than mine, but my shoulders are better. Or, you start picking apart and looking at them like a judge.
Okay, so real quick, you start looking around at somebody and you go, okay, she's a player.
Uh-huh.
So does that change how I really need to make sure I'm focused on when I pose for this body part? I need to really focus in on that.
Yeah, I actually will tell Landon, like, we have cue words where he's in the crowd and I'll be on stage and he'll say one word and I know what that means. For instance, if I'm, doing my back shot and I don't have my hips back far enough, he will yell glutes at the top of his as loud as he can, and I can.
Psycho.
It's a trigger word, so I know. Yeah, yeah.
Who's the psycho that's staring at her butt? She's got a fiance, buddy.
But yeah, he'll yell, left shoulder or glutes or whatever, and I'll know, because you don't have a mirror to look at yourself. You just have to go based off of practice and how it felt.
Right.
So, and it's kind of funny how something feels may look totally different. Whereas I feel like I'm even, but I am really like Frankenstein, and one side's way higher than the other.
It screws in your neck or something.
Yeah. So you kind of learn how to pose your body.
Right. Highlight you.
Which is hard because not everybody's body's the same. So the way that some person next to you needs to pose may be slightly different than the way that you need to pose, because your body, like I said, is different. Your shape is different. We'll end it with this question and we'll roll into the advice part of it. But I don't think I can ask this question or have this conversation without bringing it up. A lot of people, I've got buddies that have been bodybuilders. I've got buddies that we all have image issues with our body. Mm-hmm. Do you feel growing up, or do you feel the industry you're moving into, or my buddies, I used to talk about this one all the time. I had buddies that were giant, thought they were tiny. I've been in great shape, right? I mean, I've never been in ripped six pack. I've had abs. Mm-hmm. Trust me. I've got pictures. They're Polaroids, but they're still there. But the reason I'm saying that is, even when I was in good shape, I went, oh man, I have to be like, I got to get bigger. I got to lose more fat. Do you feel that in your brain? Is it a little bit of an image issue? Yeah. Kind of like what I mentioned earlier. You're always proud of where you're at, but you're never going to be satisfied. Now that I'm happy with my quads, my next thing that I'm worried about is, now my hamstrings suck, so I got to bring those up.
But the reason I'm asking that is because there's young girls out there that are 14, 12, 15, 17, and they may be struggling with a different kind of body image. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I'm never going to be pretty. I can never look like that. Did you ever go through that, or do you can you relate to not feeling like you're enough, just like they are?
Yeah, I can actually. When I moved from Michigan down to Atlanta, the people are different, the culture's different. People in the South are a lot nicer. Me coming from the North, not to say people from the North are all mean, but there is that stereotype, and to some extent, it's a little bit true. So when I came down, I struggled to make friends because, not that I was mean or anything, I just didn't approach people I didn't know. So once I kind of figured that out, I was like, well, I got to fit in somehow. So what can I do? And I just was trying to wear things that didn't look good on me or that I wasn't comfortable with or what have you, just to fit in. And now looking back, I'm like, if I would have just owned my curly hair or owned whatever it is that I was trying to fix, I would have been so much happier with it. Because if you just own whatever it is that you are, people are going to love you for that. People can see from a mile away when you try to be somebody that you're not.
Right.
So if you're doing it for the reasons of impressing somebody else, it'll come out and show, and you're not going to be comfortable either.
Well, and I think I would take what you're saying and combine it with something else I think the whole interview's kind of had a theme through, and that is I don't think that when people say, I'm just big bone, that's who I am, and they never really try to apply themselves. Well, there's some people who genetically have issues. I'm not talking about you people. I'm talking about the mass of the population, because I also think if you take what you just said and marry it up to, but I want to be a better version of me. So now I love me for who I am, but that doesn't mean I need to stop trying to be a better version. Some people aren't going to look like the models.
Yeah, and that's fine.
That's fine. That's what people have to learn, but I can still be a better version of me.
Right. And that's all anybody really should be trying to do.
That's hard for kids.
Yeah. Kids in school, they're mean. Girls were mean to me. It's a cutthroat life in high school.
I got a 14-year-old daughter, man. It's tough.
But once I started realizing, like, my hair is not ever going to be this slick straight, or I'm going to have a bad frizzy hair day. But if I act like I don't care and what these people are telling me how bad it looks or whatever, if they see it's not bothering me, they're going to find something else to go move on to. They're just going to get bored.
That's why I tell my daughter, surround yourself with people who bring out the best in you, who push you, though.
Absolutely.
Who don't just accept your excuses.
Mm-hmm. That is the biggest thing. Self-discipline is, I wish it were more common, and people, I feel, have self-discipline when it comes to the easy things. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of what needs to be done to get you to where you're trying to go,
right?
People lag in that area because they think, oh, it's just this one time, or oh, it's just this one cardio session, or oh, it's, whatever. Well, all of those little things add up over time, and consistency is key always, regardless of what you're trying to do.
Right.
So I would just keep your head down. Don't let anything get to you, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Where do you look to for motivation? Do you have a video? Do you have somebody you follow that you get motivation from?
I do. So this girl, her name is Nicole Wilkins. She is very well known in the industry. She's won like the Olympia, I don't know, 3-4 times. More than once, which in itself is a huge accomplishment. But the way that she presents herself, the way that she carries herself, she's so successful and has so much going. But if you met her on the street, you wouldn't know it. She doesn't act like she's got her head stuck up her butt. And I think that's huge, especially when someone gets as successful as she is.
Right.
I believe in staying humble and grateful, and just don't be mean for no reason.
You're about to say asshole or something. It's okay. Mean's good.
All right, yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. I saw the duh. You were forming the D, don't? So here's my
Nobody
question.
likes assholes.
No, nobody does. Yes. Okay. So what is? I know you've got the nationals coming up. Mm-hmm. Big picture though. Where does Brittany want to be in 1 year, 5 years? What do you want to be doing?
I want to be competing with the pros. This is what I want to be doing. I want to be able to, well, this is of course years ahead, but I would like to compete at the Olympia, that stage that Nicole Wilkins won so many times. And any competitor is going to say they obviously want to win the Olympia. So big dream. That's what that is. But as far as a stepping stone and more realistic, I got to work on nationals first. And
will that qualify you as a pro?
Yes, if I win nationals, I do turn pro.
So no second place. If you come in second, you don't qualify. Only if you win.
First and second in each class of figure.
Okay, good for you. Yeah, Sean.
They win.
Good.
But me being as competitive as I am, of course, I'd be more than happy with a second place pro win.
Right.
Who wouldn't? But I mean, I would also be lying if I say I wasn't going for the overall either.
But I think that's the attitude you'd find most of those people that you look up to had when they were starting off.
Yeah, anybody that's got a national level physique or pro physique or that's been in the industry, they know. I mean, we all have very similar thought processes and the way that we think is very much the same because you can't be a successful bodybuilder without thinking extreme.
I'm going to be the best bodybuilder. That you got to be thinking, I'm going to be the best bodybuilder.
Yeah, you have to be confident in yourself. And I hate to, I don't mean that to come off as being cocky or arrogant or anything like that. But if I don't believe in myself, who the hell's going to? So,
you'd be a good coach too, down the road. I think you'd be a good coach. I think you'd be a great coach.
People, it's kind of funny. People, what?
You wouldn't be a good coach if you're hangry.
Okay.
If you're not hangry.
She expects everyone to be perfectionists, so
that's okay. So that was the voice of Landon.
I will admit, my biggest
fiance.
struggle, I will help anyone and will go to the moon and back. But my problem is if I feel like if I'm putting in more effort into work than you are yourself, I'm like, what the heck? Why are you wasting my time? Because the only one you're hurting here is yourself.
But here's what I think then, and I think both of you are right. I think he's probably right. You may be a bad coach for the masses, but when you find the person that has, when you're 30 and you've got the 21-year-old you, and they don't know what to do, I think that's where you could really help them. Yeah. Because when you find somebody
I'm extreme. I know I am. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
You're like, we were separated at birth and I don't know what I'm doing. Then when you find somebody that gets to the gym before you do, you'll be like, that's the one.
Because I genuinely get excited when people have the same kind of passion for this as I do.
Yeah.
And so when somebody comes to me and they're like, can you help me? Or I'll try to help them. And then I find out from their Snapchat story that they're going to McDonald's and they're mad because the ice cream machine's broken again.
Quit stalking my stinking website and social media, Brittany. It's awkward that you watch me that much with McDonald's and Burger King.
Hey.
Give me some shout outs. You got some sponsors? You got people that are helping you that you want to talk about or say thanks to?
Of course, Gloss Chattanooga. They've been huge help with my recovery. Fit Plus, they helped me out getting ready for the Flex Loose Classic. They prepped my food. So check them out if you're looking for a meal prep company. Said Gloss. If anyone's looking for some really good supplements, if you're wondering, I personally use Project AD stuff. Their stuff is really, really great. Never have to question the quality or anything. True Nutrition is a really good, they do make protein powders and you can kind of adjust it to like a personal, you can add more flavoring, less flavoring.
Yeah.
Of course, I owe a huge thank you to my coach for believing in me and pushing me to be where I need to be. And then obviously, my fiance, he's been with me day in and day out, regardless of my hunger moods or my not so nice attitudes. Even cardio, he comes and does cardio.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's been there every step of the way. And when I break down and have my I can't do this moments, he's been the one to pick me up. So it's been awesome to have him
the journey
here.
You're about to start, it'll be your turn next time. You know what I'm saying?
I told him he's up next year.
Are you doing it next year, dude?
We'll see.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I kind of like a break from it just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a team thing going on right now.
When I'm, as far as I would like to do one, I just need at least 6 months to have some normalcy between us and to be able to go out and eat food together.
So, you bodybuilders or fitness, physique? What do you
bodybuild?
Okay.
Yeah. So, wow. I do look forward to getting on stage again, but I do also look forward to us going out to eat dinner together. So, there's.
Yes, I'd like some bread, please, and the olive oil. Thank you very much. I think we've gone out to eat together twice in probably
16 weeks.
Yeah, and that has been the toughest part, is not being able to have that normalcy in the relationship. In the off season, it's fine because I get a cheat meal every so often, so we'll make those events and big things. But lately, it's been a little bit on the stricter side. So, although a couple of days ago I got Chick-fil-A, so we had a Chick-fil-A date.
So here's what y'all need to do. You ready for this? Y'all need to find a sponsor that's a restaurant, and we sponsor Brittany and Landon's cheat day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let me know
There
if you know
go.
anyone.
Oh, I got all kinds of restaurants.
Yeah, I know you got a guy for
I
everything.
got a guy for everything.
Got a guy.
I appreciate you coming in, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really.
Yeah, and you're gonna kick ass the 17th. So
Thank you. I hope so.
yeah, and then we'll follow you. Maybe when you go pro, we'll get you back in and talk about what the difference is.
We'll
If
see
anybody wants to watch, I will have a live feed playing on our Instagram. So
During the event?
yeah,
So will they hear you yell glutes?
probably they did at the Flex.
If you go look at the video, if it's on my Instagram, you can hear him, and that's what I was talking about. You can just hear him say glutes. And I'll tell you, I heard it on stage.
If you think she's winning, right, dude? I mean, if she's winning and there's no competition, you're like, okay, this is just yell out, I'm dating her. She's smoking hot. Something. Just where she's on stage and she goes, the hell did he just say?
My dad is actually the one I gotta watch out
got a good
for.
one of those.
Oh,
My
did he?
dad likes to. He doesn't know where the line is, and he's funny. He likes to joke. So he'll always say kind of something weird and funny. And on my back shot, when I had my back to the judges, I remember just cracking up, staring at the curtain of the stage because I heard my dad. I can't remember what it was. Yeah,
The Ripper?
He called me the Ripper, and I just started laughing in my back shot because I was.
But
I
isn't
know
that nice
that's
that you
him.
relax up there? It probably actually made you pose better.
It
made you
did. It really did.
decompress.
It took the nerves off a little bit because I was like, you know what? It is what it is at this point. I brought the package I'm going to bring. Nothing I'm going to change right now is going to change the way I look. So just have fun with it.
Well, I admire the fact you can be vulnerable up there. I think it's like any other one-on-one sport. I think it's even different because there's no competition up there when you're out there by yourself the first time through. So I wish you the very best. I'd love to have you back in here. Next time you come in, let's see, if your coach is in town, holler at me. We'll get him on with you, and we'll just get Landon on too. We'll make it a four
He'd
conversation.
love that. We'll get him down here for sure.
Go kick ass.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me. Hey, thanks for listening to During the Break podcast. Do all the things I ask you to do. Share it, review it. You know what to do. Thanks a lot. Bye. Thanks for listening to During the Break. If you like this episode, share it with your friends. If you have a few minutes, please rate and review the podcast on iTunes to help us reach a larger audience. Also, like our Facebook page and check out our website, duringthebreakpodcast.com. If I haven't asked too much already, join us again next time on During the Break.